What's up, everyone? It's Trainer Del. This video for you. I have my top 3 favorite Pokemon of each region. These are just my opinions on my favorite Pokemon. That's all this list really is. So we got what is this? There's 9 regions, 3 each. Let's do the math. 27 Pokemon here. And some of the top 3s were harder than other ones because there's some regions where I like so much more Pokemon, and some where I was like, it was easy pickings. So yeah, let's start off with Kanto. And we got my favorite Pokemon of all time. I'm gonna just start with my favorite Pokemon of all time. It is Squirtle, and this is my favorite Squirtle card because of playing that Blastoise Keldeo deck back in the day. So yeah, just Squirtle. Some other Pokemon will have evolution lines and everything, but Squirtle's my main man right here. My favorite Pokemon of all time. And then I'll just kind of switch it for this Squirtle while I put it here. Kanto, first Pokemon games, talked about this before. Just whatchamacallit, I had a cousin who was playing it in the Japanese version, didn't know what I was doing, just clicking buttons, and noticed like some moves did more damage than others, especially like the bubble coming out. And then when Pokemon came here, hooked right away. Second is Charizard. Oh no, basic Charizard. Didn't actually appreciate this Pokemon until Gen 4 actually. And has just been really cool. Just obviously it's Charizard. Who doesn't want to chase the Charizard? It's here. Charizard is in my second favorite Pokemon of Kanto. And lastly, again, I'm gonna be this Kanto list is very basic. Pikachu, the mascot of the Pokemon series. It's hard not to like Pikachu, and like yellow version. Like I remember picking that up on my birthday, and playing it and whatnot, and just all this stuff that Pikachu gets all the merch and everything. So Kanto, very basic, very just right here, but still near and dear to my heart. It's the first game I played of Pokemon. Like, dang. Gen 2 is a little weird for me because I like Gen 1 so much that Gen 2, it was hard to pick favorites for a while. But I always go back to when I play Fire Red, like getting Blossom. So Blossom's like my favorite Johto Pokemon. I guess another thing is I'm not doing legendaries, I guess, for this list, because Ho-Oh probably would be number 1, but like a lot of me playing Pokemon is like using them in the story and stuff, and using them. And in Johto, I don't know, like Blossom, it's funny because it's connected to Gen 1 being an oddish evolution using the new Sunstone at the time, and then it was in the Pokemon movie, like in the little opening movie thing. Second, oddly enough, also connected to Gen 1, which is Espeon, which is the psychic evolution of Eevee, and seeing Red have one was really cool. That's kind of made me like Espeon more, the fact that Red had one on his team. And yeah, for the longest time, my favorite Evolution, until later down the line. And so these are technically original, but they're connected to this first region, Kanto. And my last favorite Pokemon of the region is straight up original. It is Ladybug, actually. I don't know why I like ladybugs. I think they're funny looking, they're cool, the color scheme, and Ladybug just looked always derpy to me. So Ladybug is my third favorite of the Johto region. So probably not my strongest region of liking Pokemon. I mean, except for Espeon. Like Espeon's one of the, top favorites of like, it's an evolution. But we go to Hoenn and we go to the Game Boy Advance era of Pokemon games. And one Pokemon stood out to me, and that is Gardevoir. And again, guys, I know what you're thinking, but Gardevoir to me, I actually had a boy Gardevoir. I didn't see it as a female because I saw Ralts. I thought it was cool when we were with Wally and we catch one, so I wanted one. And then I had a boy Gardevoir, and it just wrecked. It just wrecked through. I think it had Psychic, Thunderbolt, some other moves that just wrecked through Hoenn for me. Like that and my Swampert. And this next Pokemon were just, I don't know, just easy to, it was really fun to play that game, and they were like my powerhouses. So, and then over time, Gardevoir has shown up in like almost so many games. I think in like every game after it's been out. So it's usually a Pokemon that if Ralts is in one of the earlier routes, I will get, and I will use Gardevoir for like a playthrough. So it's just comforting for me. And then I'll use like another Pokemon later on when I get like EV training, IVs and all that stuff later on. But yeah, so in Hoenn, second favorite Pokemon there is Torkoal, which Flannery is my favorite gym leader. So Torkoal being like her main Pokemon was always really cool. Ash's Torkoal was so funny. I love this card. I love this card too because for a while I was using it. That Steam Crush, just discarding 2 energies. It was really fun. But overall, I really like Torkoal. I like that he got that buff having Sunny Day and stuff in the games. And he's been like, if I actually use Torkoal more in games than I would Charizard, just because of the dual typing with flying and, you know, Stealth Rock, and it hurts. I usually have him as like a defensive tank and whatnot. And lastly in Hoenn, this was a toss-up. Like, I really like Metagross. I really like, what's that, Absol, but I don't know, it's just Skitty. Like, Skitty also has a derpiness to it, just kind of like Ladybug, where it chases its tail and whatnot, and I always thought that was really funny. So yeah, Skitty. And whenever I play Gen 3, I hunt down Skitty. So I always have these 3 on my team. I'll change up starters, like Blaziken or Swampert or even Sceptile. I'll try out like different flying types or whatnot, but these 3 are usually my mainstays when I play Gen 3 games. All right, so Gen 4, this one was one of the ones that I knew like right off the bat who my favorites were, but I didn't realize how much more I liked after that. But Gen 4 with one of my favorite Pokemons of all time, my second favorite Pokemon of all time, and it is Gallade. I love Gallade so much. I collect every TCG art of Gallade and Squirtle. Squirtle was the first one I tried doing that with, but Gallade has to be there too. So Gen 4 Diamond and Pearl was for the longest like Kanto Red and Green, and then Fire Red Leaf, or Red and Blue, and then Fire Red Leaf Green were like my favorite games, and then Diamond and Pearl like beat it, and Platinum especially beat it as like my top game. And a lot of that is due to the fact that Gallade was so cool. And then again, I got more into battling, like actually team building, and I used a Charizard, I used a Gallade. They were on that team. Didn't have Squirtle. Like back when I was young, I would always just put Squirtle on my team when I could, but obviously battling against friends, like base stats and learning all that stuff, Gallade has been my mainstay Pokemon like ever since for me. Second favorite is Mismagius. Just like, I didn't really use Mischievous in Gen 3, but Gen 4 Mischievous was just really cool to use. Just where like Gallade was like my physical attacker, she is my special attacker. And then rounding out, it took what, 3 more generations to get another starter on here, but Torterra, Turtwig and Torterra are my favorites. And like when I played the Gen 4 games in Pearl, he had his own theme song, which was that song that played Otherworld or something in Final Fantasy X, like the Blitzball scene. I don't know why. I just, whenever I summoned Torterra, I just felt like that song would be playing because he would just demolish the storyline. Yeah, so I like him a lot. These 3 are up there. And again, he's another turtle starter, which I think is funny. Which, if a region has a turtle, more so, they might be on this because I like turtles. Gen 5. Gen 5, I had a long history with, because at this point, my friends and I had like R4s, ace cards, and we were just like genning Pokemon and just like playing the story and then like creating our battle teams and whatnot. But Gen 5 is at this moment my favorite generation of Pokemon games. And in it, I really love Snivy and Serperior. And Snivy and Serperior are kind of combined like that line as my third favorite Pokemon of all time, only because it like, there's Snivy right there, came out obviously after Squirtle and Gallade. That's really the only knock to it. Just the battles I had there, the storyline, like I feel like it's the last generation where I felt like I was going on an adventure. Like all the Pokemon games after that just felt like games, but like as an adventure, as a storyline, being immersed in Pokemon in the game, it's like the last one for me. And I feel like that holds true for a lot of people. The games get easier or whatnot, whatever you want to call it, but Gen 5, awesome. And again, like I said, turtles are going to show up. So Caracosta, I was like, whoa, another turtle, like this is cool. And he was a little different, being water and rock. And for some reason, in like my own headcanon of like team building, Serperior is like the Black Mamba, like it's more aloof, like it just wants efficiency and to win. And Caracosta is like my Derek Fisher, where he's like the mediator of the team, and he's like, guys, we got this. Especially since the next one I gave a personality to, which is, I love the Vanillite line. I know some people don't, it's just ice cream to them, but I think, again, it follows the derpiness of what I like. And right now the Vanillish card is one of my favorite cards that have come out recently. And I didn't even know this existed, but when I did, I was like, I gotta go right away and hunt this card down. Went to Frankensons and found this card when I realized it was real. To me, he's super derpy. And in my head canon of team builds, he's like the funny one. He's like, he doesn't take things too seriously. So these three have a lot of talking where Serperior gets mad. But when Vanillite finally evolves and gets Ice Beam, Vanillish and eventually Vanillux are just like some of my strongest Pokemon. They wipe out obviously like Iris's team and Drayden's team. So, and Hydreigon, freaking guess this, Hydreigon, and even ends Zekrom because they're all weak to ice. So yeah, Gen 5, yeah, love Gen 5, my favorite generation to this day. But we go to Kalos, and in the Kalos region, is probably my Y-file has like the longest hours I've logged in, because I did so much shiny hunting and breeding and all that stuff, and I was full into college. And so when I wasn't doing homework or going to Disneyland, I was playing Pokemon Y. And Sylveon eventually took as my favorite evolution. So Sylveon came there, especially having Hyper Voice with Pixelate. And I think it was just so cool to get that power boost, and the fairy typing, beating dragons, and just switching so many things up. It was really cool. And then Aegislash, the form change that it does, the shield form and the blade form or whatever, I can't really remember, but I thought that was a really cool gimmick and just really cool overall. And Aegislash has been one of my more mainstays in my more competitive teams. Like when I actually try more, I like to really have Aegislash on there, along with Gallade, along with Serperior, especially Contrary Serperior. Yeah, Aegislash is there. And lastly, Delphox and Fennekin. I originally was gonna go Greninja in Gen 6, but then when we found out like the Gen 1 starters were available and I can get Squirtle, like I wasn't gonna have two water types, so I chose Fennekin, just like whatever. And actually Delphox, the whole line has been really cool, being like the magician and whatnot, so I like that. I like Delphox a whole lot. Yeah, we go to Alola next, and Alola for me was, I'll just straight up say it, it's like My least favorite of the main series games, I would like Alola and Galar weren't the strongest, but we'll get to Galar later. But I did like a good amount of Pokemon, to be honest, from that region, and one that stuck out was Serena. And it's funny because I didn't really play Serena in my playthrough because I believe in Sun, we can island scan and get like Snivy. But where Serena became one of my more favorite Pokemon is actually from Pokemon Unite. Puddin loves playing Snorlax, so she's more defensive and slow. And I was like, yo, let me balance that out by having like a fast attacker. And using Serena in that game, we had so much fun playing Unite. And so little by little, Serena was there. And then in Galar, I was just like, oh, there's Bounsweet. Also, I think, what came out first? I think Galar, or you guys can remind me. But just the combination of like using it post Alola, when I went back to play Ultra Sun again, because I just like never beat it. I was like, let me go back and actually play through Ultra Sun. Serena was a main part of that team, like giving it like U-turn and like drop kick to like lower attack and stuff like that. Just really cool. But for a while, my favorite Alolan Pokemon was actually Mimikyu. Mimikyu was on my team when I first played Pokemon Sun, and the disguise thing when like the head drops over, it just, again, hits that same point that I love about Lady Bad, that I love about Skitty, that I love about Vanillish. It's just funny to me. And so Mimikyu, again, another popular Pokemon. I guess Squirtle kind of hits that too. He's like funny to me. I love Squirtle. He's like funny and cool at the same time. But yeah, Mimikyu's there. And then, there's a turtle, right? So like, come on, Turtonator. Just really, again, he's more cool, I think. But sometimes he just does look derpy to me. So Turtonator, definitely on there. Used him also on my original Sun team, along with Mimikyu. And it's just crazy that he's a dragon type. I always forget. So whenever I do like team building, like later on, there's other things like Dragonite or Garchomp or stuff like that I'm like, ooh, I'd rather use them. But man, Turtonator, if only you could be really, really good. Which is funny because the next turtle they made, in my opinion, is actually really, really good. And that's Drednaw. I love Drednaw so much. It might even break into my top 10 of all-time favorite Pokemon, which a lot of them are here. But Drednaw is just really cool. We're in Galar, and I remember my friends were like, I think Drednaw got announced before Choodle, so we got to see this, and I like Choodle a lot too. But my friends were like playing through Sword and Shield, and I stopped because I wanted like a shiny one, Choodle. So I was just like fighting Choodles. I was like, fine, whatever, I'll just grab whatever, and then just used it. And yeah, Drednaw has been a mainstay for this and for the next region. So I really like Drednaw. Like, it's hard for me not to play Drednaw. He's kind of been like, he's the same typing as Carracosta, which at first I was like, ill. But yeah, he's been a bit more efficient. And sadly, Carracosta is not in the latest game. So Drednaw is like my turtle on like my main team that I play for fun with my friends. Secondly is a Pokemon that I started liking more because of the card arts and because of like the gimmick, which is Alcremie. I did not play Alcremie so much so in Sword and Shield, but yeah, a lot of the pictures were so cool, like seeing the Cafe Man and stuff, and seeing this just whipped up in the different fruits. I thought it was really cool. And right now, I have like a matcha version in my Scarlet game that's like, I don't know, it's just weird. It's just a weird, fun Pokemon too. So Alcremie's on there. And lastly, Morpeko, only because I also like Marnie, which again, Nessa uses Drednaw, just kind of like how Flannery uses Torkoal. So another reason why the turtles used by my favorite gym leaders are on here. But that Marnie challenge that I went through and everything, where like I just like Morpeko too. It's just funny, especially the hangry mode, which I had to get this card of as well. Just had to be there. You know, just had to be. And lastly, we're in the Paldea region. And so far, this is the final region that we have until hopefully Gen 10 gets announced. And I'll have to think about 3 more Pokemon. But I'm going to go backwards. So this is like my 3rd favorite Pokemon in that region. And it is Tinkaton. I think she, again, you guys see a theme of some of the cute, crazy Pokemon that are funny or derpy looking. Like Tinkaton hits the right notes. And like my cousin, this is one of his favorite Pokemon in the region, and might be his favorite Pokemon of the region, I think. It's just funny seeing this little thing with a giant hammer. It's just cool. So that's there. And it took how long? It took 3 other generations to finally get a starter back in, and I don't have the normal card, but I did get the Skeledirge EX, premium collection, because I love Fuecoco. He's so funny looking too. And Skeledirge, I was actually shocked on how much I would like him, especially the Torch song or whatever it has, where it keeps bumping its thing. So I have like 2 different sets of this. I had one where it's like full HP and one like speed and special attack, obviously special attack. So I have like a bulky one, and I think the bulky set for me works a little bit better, lasting, in battle. But yeah, Skeledirge being, I did not expect the ghost typing, like being like a ghost pepper in, was it Crocolore? Funny, just really cool, and Skeledirge is there. And lastly, I think this ends on like such a fun note. Lastly, if you guys see anything, it just matches. It's Iron Valiant. Iron Valiant. It's just, come on, Gallade and Gardevoir. It's Iron Valiant. When I first saw it, I was like, that looks freaking cool. I actually picked up Scarlet, so I was really sad that I couldn't get this right away. Until I played Violet a little bit later, and it's just so good. It's such a good Pokemon, and it's so strong, but I don't think it'll ever surpass like Gallade for me in my eyes. But yeah, it's just really cool. So yeah, these are the top 3 Pokemon of each region for me. And like I said, you guys know this, but my favorite top 3 Pokemon of all time so far are these 3. And I just don't see anything breaking this top 3. Just everything will have to come later, just kind of like this lineup of stuff. So yeah, let me know down below, what are your top 3 favorite Pokemon of all time, or your favorite Pokemon of each region. It'd be cool to see in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. All right, peace.